Gigantic seeds, not gigantic, are a new item that is coming in 10.2. You'll only get a few of these per week, but you can plant them for various rewards such as trade materials and also potentially mounts as well. So in this video, I wanted to go through me planting 50 plus of these just so you can get an idea of the kind of yield we'll get from these. I will be running through these one at a time, and on the left hand side of the screen we will see the combined yield from all of the seeds we've looted so far. Now there will be about 8 seeds you can get in your first week, some of those being one-time sources, and then I'd say after that you'll end up with about 4 seeds average per week. This will depend on how much you play and RNG as well, because there will be some RNG sources, but I'd say the average player will probably end up with about 4 seeds, and then people who are more dedicated, logging on playing all day, you'll probably end up with more than 4 per week. So there will be some mounts we can get from this as well, which you see me loot a moment ago. There'll be 6 mounts we can get from the gigantic seeds, and then there'll be an additional mount we can get from this dewdrop contribution. I do try and contribute the minimum needed for the plants each time, but I do forget sometimes, although it's not too important because it isn't going to impact our yield from the seeds itself. It's just going to give us some extra mats and a chance of that other mount too. There will be an additional source for these seeds as well. Once you hit renown 20, you'll be able to purchase them for 1.5k resources each. So if you have a bunch of resources over, you're probably going to be able to dump them in and buy a bunch of seeds. But after that, you're probably not going to get too many because 1.5k resources is quite a lot. So you'll probably get one every couple of weeks or so. So we are basing this on an average of 4 seeds per week for most players, which will be kind of how we're kind of working out the loot and yield at the very end as well. There is also going to be this item called Seed Bloom, which will allow you to purchase a mount directly of your choice once you hit renown 18. Although currently on the PTR we have not seen a single Seed Bloom since they reworked it, so it either comes from the Super Bloom event. Once you get the purple bag, it's a chance from that, or there's some other source, or it's just not in the game, it's been bugged. Either way though, once you do get a Seed Bloom, I am going to assume it's an RNG drop and kind of low, then you will be able to purchase a mount of your choice. What I'd recommend doing though is sitting on these Seed Blooms, letting RNG do its thing in the first couple of months or so, and then purchasing the ones that you're missing with the Seed Bloom towards the end. It's probably going to be the best strategy. So you're probably starting to notice the yield may seem like a lot of stuff, but this is over 41 seeds, which if we're basing it on 4 a week, this would be around 10 weeks to get this many seeds. We do get our third mount, which is pushing this to around kind of like an 8%-ish drop chance, so it's not too bad. But once again, with how long it's going to take you to get this many seeds, it is kind of a little bit bad as well. The loot yield is kind of terrible though. You're not going to be getting very much gold from this at all. There is going to be a weekly hand-in that will need trade materials as well, so that will bump the price of trade goods. But it's not going to be enough, I don't think, and we'll talk about that more in the end. But if they are scared of giving us too many trade goods, watering down the price too much, then just get rid of the trade good aspect. Give us something else, like a great item that we can vend or something else to go after. Because right now it just doesn't feel too great. You're planting this many seeds, and if you don't get a mount, you're getting about 20 gold's worth of value. It's just not very good at all. Now there will be 2 other seeds as well. There will be a green seed and a blue seed. Although those seeds will not give mounts, they'll give transmog and pets, and the yield from those will be even lower than these ones as well, so you're going to be getting like 10 to 5 gold maybe, although those ones will be more common, so it kind of averages out a little bit there. For a purple item though that is limited once per week and the core feature of the patch, I was just kind of expecting better loot. So this is our total yield from all of the 57 seeds combined, and as you can see, it's just not looking too great, right? The ore, we got like 300 gold, the herbs, we got like just over 300 gold as well. The cloth stuff, we got less than 100 gold. The leather, we got just over 200 gold, maybe, not even. From the enchanting stuff, we made like 300 gold. From the rousing stuff, we made less than 200 gold. So it's just not too great, for something you're kind of planting and hoping you get some cool loot from. If you don't get a mount, you get in a very minuscule amount of gold. And if we break this down even further, from total, like we combined everything together, it's about 1,300 gold, which if we break it down to per seed, so 57 seeds, that's about 23 gold per seed. So every time you plant a seed and you loot it, you get about 23 gold, which means per week from your 4 seeds, you're looking at about 100 gold. And even if you're more proactive, you're planting 8 seeds, that only doubles to 200 gold. And even if they're planned for making the trade mats a hand-in, so that'll bump up the prices of trade mats, let's say it 10x's the prices of trade mats. So now you're getting 13k gold and you're getting a 1,000 gold per week instead. It's still not too great. 1,000 gold for a week's worth of effort is just pretty terrible. So I just don't think the rewards from this are very good right now. I think if they're scared of giving us too many trade materials, then scrap the trade material side, give us something else. Give us, back in the early beta or the PTR or whatever, Seed Bloom was a bigger currency, so to buy a mount you'd need like hundreds of it, And every time you planted a seed, you'd get some seed bloom. So eventually you were kind of collecting it and you'd have enough to turn in for a mount. That felt a bit better because at least when you didn't get a mount, you're like, okay, at least now I'm a step towards my next mount. It just made the loot feel a little nicer. But just getting some trade materials that aren't worth very much, not very good. If they want to give us some gold from this, then they could switch over to grey items that we vendor, and they can make the the reward a little bit nice that way, although once again doesn't feel too great getting just spammed with grey items. So I'm not too sure what the solution is here. Maybe make it so the purple seeds are a combination of the green, blue, and purple. So you can get the transmog from them, you can get the pets from them, and you can also get the mounts from them. And it's just got a bigger combined yield that way. So you're not just looking for mounts, but if you get a piece of transmog, cool. You get a pet from it, okay, cool. And it just gives a little bit more value to the purple seed there as well. But either way, I think it needs better rewards. In terms of mounts, we got 3 mounts in 57 seeds. If we pull that down a little just to make it a little bit easier to understand, if we say we got 3 mounts in 54 seeds, that's 1 mount every 18 seeds. Now I do think we were close to being due to another seed, but just based on the data we got from this, we're looking at around a kind of 5 to 6% drop chance. I think it would be a little bit higher than that, but if we're just relying purely on seeds, we're looking at around 6 months to get all of those mounts. That's quite a long time, right? So 6 months, although once again, the seed bloom hasn't been taken into consideration here. We don't know how the seed bloom is going to be obtained though, so I don't know how much this is going to impact things. If we say we get 1 seed bloom per month, which I think would be a little bit too slow, but let's say we get 1 per month, then that would bring this down to being a 3-month grind to get all the mounts, playing weekly, grinding out all your sources for the seeds, and obviously trying to get the seed bloom as well. And if they're higher than that, say every 2 weeks, then it does bring it down to like 1 to 2 months, which isn't as bad. But once again, we don't know how seed bloom is going to work, so that's all speculation. And you do need to wait until you're renown 18 anyway before you can even purchase the mounts. But the seeds in themselves, if we're just looking at this as a mechanic, I think it's kind of disappointing right now considering the whole kind of system is worked around this gameplay loop of you do the super bloom, you do the content, you get these seeds, you plant the seeds, you nourish them, everyone comes along and contributes dewdrops and stuff, and it's meant to be hype, and then you loot it and you get 25 gold. It's like, there's an aspect missing here, and the fact that you need to wait 3 minutes as well for the seed to kind of bloom, it's just 3 minutes of waiting for 25 gold worth of disappointment. In those 3 minutes, I could probably make more gold doing something else, So that's one of the core reasons I wanted to make this video, was to kind of say, maybe you should sit on your seeds, because I have a feeling they're going to rework these shortly after launch once people start planting them and stuff. They're like, what is this loot? It's terrible. I think they're going to buff them. So I'm going to be sitting on my seeds because I don't really see a downside to that. They don't have like a max stack, I don't believe. So you can just collect as many as you want, and then once they buff it, or if they don't buff it, it doesn't really change anything, and then you can start planting them. Either way though, let me know what you think of this in the comments below. Do you think I'm being unreasonable? Do you think the rewards are fine? Or if you do think they need changing, what would you do to change them to make them more appealing? Outside of that, look out for more videos coming soon. Thanks for watching guys. Gigantic.